Hello, shalom, peace. My name is Malka. This is my first video, and I felt it in my heart to talk. I had quite a few couple of days, that were just very intense for me, and, a weird situation that happened to me about an hour ago. Firstly, I'm from Houston, and I actually moved away, but I was back. I was back in town due to a family emergency, and I'm an Uber driver. So I went to go work. My husband's with family. I went to go work, and there was an experience that happened to me. I go to the gas station, and the gas station I was at, just ironically, I had a passenger, and I dropped him off in the location I used to be in my addiction at. I'm a recovering addict, just made 5 months by the grace of God and the mercy of God, and that's the only reason I'm here, the only reason I'm alive today, the only reason why I'm clean and sober today. So all praises go to God and go to my Creator. And I was just driving. I was trying to get some gas at the gas station, and there was this young woman who was walking by, and I was waiting for her to cross, and she just stopped and looked at me, and she gave me that eye like, "Are you trying to hit me?" And I gave her the eye back like, "No, I'm not trying to hit you. Like, go." And then I motioned for her to go, right? And she didn't want to go, so I drove. I pulled up to the pump, and as I'm getting out, the young woman, she's just going off. She's like, "Be this, be that. I'm gonna whoop that A," and I'm just like, I told her, "No, you're not." And I think she was kind of shocked. She looked in shock, like I wasn't about that life. But she looked, and she was like, "Yeah, you keep talking, I'm gonna whoop that." And I'm like, "No, you're not. You're not gonna do anything, ma'am." And so I walk up to go get my gas. She's in the line before me, and she's just like, "Yeah, I'm tired of women acting like they could just do whatever they want to do to me." And I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm not trying to do nothing but get my gas." And in the back of my head, not even the back of my head, the front of my head, I'm just, really frustrated, because I'm like, she just does not realize. Not that long ago, I was out here on these streets. I was her, and it broke my heart. And, for a moment, I just wanted to drag her. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to drag the woman. And I'm looking at her, and, I could tell she's gone through some things in her life. She was extremely dirty, and she had mud on her. Her clothes had holes in them, and her face just looked extremely distraught, extremely heartbroken, and like she looked extremely hopeless, And I just had to take a step back, and I'm like, I don't live that life no more, And as much as she just kept going on and on and on, and as much as it just kept, whenever that anger starts to build up, and you don't really know what to do with it, and you just gonna explode. Well, that was about to happen, and I'm just, thinking about my old lifestyle, and I'm like, man, this woman just don't know how blessed she is. Like, she don't know. Like, I was out there on them streets, and them dealers, the same dealers out there, would tell you, don't mess with her. That's the one you don't want to mess with. And I'm just like, man, she just don't know. Like, God's saving her right now because I'm a new woman. And I'm like, in the back of my head also, I'm like, you know what God don't do, he don't let his children get harmed. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, and I'm like, if she even tried to touch me, I'm protected. God's gonna protect me, and I will slaughter her. But at the same time, I sat there and I thought, I'm like, but she's a child of God too. She's God's daughter too. And I told her, I said, you know what? God loves you, and I'm gonna pray for you. And then she didn't know what to do at that point. She just started on with something else completely off topic and just went into that. And she's just like, People don't even really know what prayer is. And people say them things but don't really know. I don't know how far this video will go, but I just, from the bottom of my heart, if she ever sees this, I love you, and I did pray for you. And I prayed for, because she was with a man, right? I prayed for her, for a strong leader to guide her to God, because that's what my husband did for me, and that's what he's doing for me. I prayed for her to have revelation and be revealed of the goodness of God, and how much he loves her, and the mercy of God, and how much all he wants to do is bless her and protect her and kiss her and hold her. Because I know these things because he does it for me. And I know at that point in my life I was so hopeless, you know. I was dead inside. I was either going to go to prison or die. Like, those were my only two options. I had been in and out of rehab the last several years, and I just couldn't get it. You know, I couldn't understand why other people were getting it. What was I missing? What was I not getting? I did not understand that. As much as I wanted to, I always went back out there. Like, I was so eager to go back out there, although I didn't want to. That was the only thing I knew, the only life I knew for so long, and it was the only thing that I held, was feeding my addiction. You know, the thing that I was missing, why I'm clean today, like I said at the beginning, I'm clean today because of God. I'm clean because I turned my life to him. I don't drink today. I don't do drugs today. And I did anything you could think of. I did. I touched. I got a story for every drug there is. Believe that. You know. And I didn't think I was ever going to get back. And the only thing that I was missing, it was so simple, was God. Was getting to know my Creator. It was getting to know his Son. To be able to be in the presence of his Spirit. You know, and the last time I took a drink and did a drug, I actually was just coming into the faith, and I follow the Hebrew culture, and I was just starting to walk in the faith, and everything's biblical. The Hebrew culture is biblical. That's the whole standpoint, is biblical. And so I just got my new Bible, and I'm like, man, let me go have this drink though and read this Bible though. You know what I'm saying? And I open up, I'm about 3 pages in Genesis, right? I'm reading, and I'm like, in that moment, I've never had a moment like this. It was a gentle moment, and I wasn't taken extremely aback. It wasn't no spiritual awakening that happened in this moment, although I have had spiritual awakenings. This moment was not one of them. It was very gentle, and it was an easy revelation that God gave to me, because I know he knew at that moment in my life, I just needed him to give me some type of sign that he was with me. And, you know, he spoke to me, and he revealed to me that what you want, all the understanding that you prayed about over the years, all the questions you had in and out of rehab, in and out of your addiction, what you keep asking to understand, my word, you're not going to get filling your body and filling your mind and polluting your mind and not being sober-minded. Before I even read anywhere in the Bible about being sober-minded, God placed that in my heart and places up here that I cannot no longer intoxicate and make my vessel unclean in order to receive him, in order to receive his word, in order to receive his spirit and his guidance. There's no way that was going to happen. And in that moment, I ordered my drink, right? And I'm like, man, I told the waitress, I'm like, I can't drink it, you know? I was like, you know what? I don't want it no more. You can take it back. And I've never made a choice like that. I've never made a decision like that. In and out of my addiction, I would say I was clean, right? But I would still have a drink in my hand. I could outdrink any man, any mama, any daddy, any poppy. It don't matter who it was. I'm outdrinking you. It don't matter how hard you think you going. I'm going to go harder. And that was on everything. And alcohol was the same. I went hard. I went ham on them bottles. And I just, in that moment, God took away something that I had prayed about for years. He took away a craving, a desire from drugs and from alcohol. I had prayed for repulsion of drugs and alcohol. I don't know if anyone else is struggling in the recovery, struggling in their addiction. But when you get to the point of begging for repulsion, to be repulsed by the sight, the taste, the smell of drugs, because you just can't stop, you want to die, and you're begging God to just make you hate this, God gave that to me. He answered my prayers that day. And that's the day I had surrendered to Him. And I had stopped sacrificing to demons. And in that moment today with the woman, I had to remember I don't sacrifice to demons no more. I sacrifice to God. I sacrifice to Yahweh. And, I make my daily sacrifices to the best of my ability. And I pray. I had to ask myself, for the last 24 hours, what's your prayer life like? And I've been walking for Yah, walking for God. God, Yahweh, same person, same entity. And today, the last 24 hours, I had kept the Feast of Atonement and the Day of Atonement, which is the most mournful feast of all feasts, the most holiest day set apart by God. And it's a day to grieve, a day to beg for mercy, to come clean, confess to God all your past transgressions and sins over the past year. And, whenever you're coming out of addiction, you don't want to think about them things. You really just trying to get yourself together right in the head. And, I try not to think about them things. And today was set apart specifically for me to think about them things and for me to plead to God and let Him know how sorry I was, and for Him to have mercy on my soul, for my name to be in the book of life and not the book of death. And, it's hard for me to show emotion. And my husband, his brother, was pretty much walking me through the Day of Atonement. And there was a couple of times I just had to step away and cry, and because I had to think about all the things that I did, all the sacrifices that I made to the demons in the past year, and how much I begged God to get me out of my addiction. I begged Him for me to stop hurting my family. I begged Him for me to stop putting needles in my arm. I begged Him for me to stop hurting my friends. I hadn't talked to them in weeks, months, because I'm too ashamed to come to them. I had to beg Him for me to keep a pipe out of my mouth, for me not to die or overdose, or for another friend to have to throw me in the shower, for another friend not to have to carry around no Narcan because they're afraid I'm going to overdose, for another friend not to be like, please, no more, for another family member to call the police on me, to call the psychiatric ward on me, another friend and family member to drop me off of rehab. I prayed all them things. And all I had to do was give my life over to Him, and he does everything for me. He gives me everything I want. And, I had to reflect on that the last 24 hours. And, I feel like if this situation with the woman wouldn't have happened today after the Day of Atonement, I probably wouldn't have been so graceful and merciful on her because I'm still coming out of Egypt myself. I'm out of Egypt, I'm out of bondage, but I'm still learning. I'm still a baby. I'm still new to the faith. I'm still new to recovery. And there's still a lot I have to learn and a lot I have to grow. And you know, it's hard. It's really hard sometimes. It's definitely not a burden to carry Jesus's yoke, to carry God's ways, but it's hard sometimes because your flesh rises, and I have a hard time with my flesh and with my attitude. And when people test me, I'm like, don't they know? Like, y'all see this pretty face, this fat face, and y'all think I don't live that life. Like, these people on these streets knew me not that long ago. They could tell you I was about that life. Don't go there. But I have to remember, I don't live like that no more. I don't have to live like that no more. I live a new way. I live for God. I live for Yahweh. I walk for Christ. I walk for Yeshua. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. All the blessings that I have now because of my obedience to God, for walking righteously in His way and trying to walk as perfect as I can, because that's what's commanded of me. And He blesses me for that. I have a husband, a new husband, who loves me, who supports me, who teaches me, who leads me, who doesn't allow me to sacrifice the demons, who doesn't put the devil's candy in front of me. I've never had a man like that, who doesn't put drugs in front of me, doesn't supply drugs for me. A man who leads me to righteousness, a man who leads me to God, a man who teaches me, who gets in the Bible with me and teaches me, who answers my questions. I've never had that. You know, it's just, I've never had 5 months clean and sober. I never thought that was going to happen. And if any women are struggling, I want you to know, don't you know how precious you are, what a gem you are, and how much God loves you, and how much Christ loves you, and all He wants to do is bless you. All He wants to do is provide you with your heart desire, and He will. You ask Him to be obedient to Him, I promise you, He does not break His promises. You still see that rainbow in the sky? That's a promise God made. He won't ever break you or forsake you. And if He do break you, it's for a reason. It's for a purpose. It's to draw closer to Him so that way He can bless you. And that's a promise, because I'm living testimony. I'm living testimony. God wants His daughters back. He wants His sons back. He wants His family back. And He loves you, you know, and I really just pray that, I pray for my brothers and my sisters in particular, who are struggling. You know, you can do this, and God's waiting for you. He never left you. All you have to do is talk to your Creator, talk to your Father, and He will bless you as long as you follow Him. Stop sacrificing to demons, because all you're going to get is them curses. That's not unluck. Those are curses. You want them blessings? Follow Him. I'm telling you. That's the way to go. You know? And it's so much better on the other side. You don't question your purpose here in life, on earth. While you're here, you don't have no more questions. And if you do have questions, it's the questions of, how can I get more of Him? You think that addiction, them drugs you're addicted to, you're going to be addicted to Christ. And I'm telling you, you're not going to stop asking questions. You're going to want more and more of Him. You're going to want to overdose on Him. And that's a promise. I'm telling you, I be trying to overdose on that spirit. I'm telling you right now, He is my addiction. He is the love of my life, my Father, my husband. Before my earthly husband, God is my husband. He is my Father. He's my provider. And all glory, all thanks go to God. And I'm telling you, if you see women out there who inspire you, who tell you the goodness of God, it's because they're telling you the truth. They know something and they're trying to share something with you. And there's hope for you. Do not give up. As much as you want to, as much as you think God don't love you, no man love you, your family don't love you, your kids don't love you, don't let Don't let that adversary talk to you like that, and don't believe them lies, because them are lies. God loves you, your children loves you, your family loves you. And if that man don't show you love, he don't love you. Walk away. Just walk away. Believe me. It'll save you years more of your addiction. Just walk away. So, I love y'all. Peace and blessings. Shalom. Peace.